Hey, what's up, guys? It is Drone Thrust. Uh, are you having a happy Thanksgiving? I hope so. Let's talk about shopping. Uh, did you get any good deals? I purchased some. The only Black Friday item I got was of Pokemon cards, during an extended deal. It's like at where I shop, at Walmart, they begin their Black Friday, far in advance, because they don't like to have doorbuster stores where everybody bum rushes the deals and there's trampling. So yes, I got a solid pair of Pokemon cards. One of the Pokemon cards I got is worth like $500. Yeah, I got some Pikachu, animator card. Let me show you some other cards I have. Where is the box? All right, here I got like a box of cards that I could show you. None of these are Pokemon, but I want to talk like about cards, with you for a while. Beware of fake cards. Here is a fake Yu-Gi-Oh card I found in my collection. I did some background scanning of this card, and it turns out that it's actually fake. Yeah, yeah, so I did get some Pokemon cards for a family member, and one of them, the Pikachu one, hey, what's up, Willie, turned out to be worth like $500. And it's interesting. I found two cards are big. Despite the fact that during the 90s there was a card bubble that buried a lot of people in worthless decks of you have any good cool Pokemon cards? I have them. They're in my they're in another part of the house. I got a Pikachu card from the Walmart Black Friday uh, deal that happened like 2 weeks ago. Well, Walmart begins their Black Friday sales like weeks in advance, and I was able to get an excellent deal on Pokemon cards because I spent $30 for something that contained $500 worth of cards. I mean, Walmart basically paid me to take their cards, and I have some cool baseball cards I could talk to you about. This is an unrated card, but if it comes in at a 10, it's going to be worth like $4,000. This is my most valuable card that I purchased back in the 90s. It's a Topps Bowman's Best Barry Bonds refractor card. Might be worth 4,000. If it's a 10, I think it might be a 10 because the condition seems fine. And this Mark McGuire Bowman card might be worth like 1,000. If it's a 10, I'm not sure if it's a 10. I don't know how PSA rates their cards, but I I think that the best deals for Black Friday might be they might deal with cards, but I'm not sure if the companies are going to give you that much of a discount besides that which I, was able to get at, Walmart with the Pokemon cards. It doesn't make sense for Topps to supply Walmart with cards to sell at a discount because a lot of Topps cards are in like a bubble these days. Um, as I say, I think card collecting is back. There are a lot of sneaker tube channels that collect cards and open them. I think I might try to get into that. I used to do the shoe tubing with the live cops, but that ship has sailed, I think. Yeah, Nike has Black Friday deals. I would certainly recommend going on Nike and Adidas and Puma. You're going to find that they have deals that you could get. And, I think you would benefit those deals because you're probably not someone like me who, is only interested in purchasing like the high, top end shoes. If you just want like a pair of shoes to beat up, then I would certainly recommend purchasing from Nike and Adidas because I think they're going to have, I know they'll have good deals for you that you would benefit from. I mean, the key to doing well on Black Friday, I believe, is knowing how to shop. You have to understand, when a company is selling at a loss, and giving you value. Also understand that a lot of what goes on sale on Black Friday is, stuff that the company wants to get rid of anyway. I mean, it might be like yesterday's pair of AirPods. Yeah, I mean, Walmart does seem to have a good deal on AirPods there. I don't know what the heck is going wrong. I really, let me try it again to see if I can see from my computer. It seems like I got booted from going live. Live, doing well. Yeah, I mean, Walmart does. No, it does appear that I'm live. Okay, so yeah, I'm live. All right. I was just wondering what's going on. I apologize for that interruption. I know I was doing really well there. I had a big audience until I got flummoxed. All right, so back to Black Friday chatter. As I say, Black Friday has evolved heavily over the years. It used to be about doorbusters. Everything used to be on sale at Walmart from like 12 and Target and Best Buy. They used to have everything on sale from like 12 midnight and until like 12 o'clock the next day. But they stopped doing that because people got killed in stampedes. There was macing. There were lots of seasons beatings, as I say. I get all of my information from the Drudge Report. And I remember back in the old days, whenever Black Friday occurred, Matt Drudge would have the headline "Seasons Beatings," and it would show like angry shoppers in the store, beating each other and pepper spraying each other over, microwaves. Yes, so now it gets spread out, and since Walmart and Target have like big online operations, they're able to participate in Cyber Monday, I assume, and compete against Amazon. Although I'm not sure about the extent to which, Walmart really competes against, Amazon on Cyber Monday, but I'm sure it's massive. The deals are extended all throughout the week. The companies, and as I say, you get great deals on what I would characterize as yesterday's electronics, which function fine. Like I'm sure if you for Black Friday, you're going to find that you get this camera at a discount. This is, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. The sad thing is I'm not really sure that DJI is going to be able to offer many holiday offerings this season because if the company's getting banned, a lot of people say that it's a Chinese spy operation. That wouldn't surprise me. I don't trust the Chinese government. I'm just not sure how it keeps Americans safe to prevent me from purchasing this camera. I don't know how this could be used to spy on me and hurt security. I mean, if China spies on me through this camera, they're not going to see very much excitement. I mean, all I do is go around, in the woods and make videos of it. That's not a national security issue. And in terms of the drones, it probably. I mean, I'm assuming I don't trust China. I have, my the title of my channel is drone thrust, and I do I do drone content. I should do more. This is my latest drone, and I think it's going to get taken away from me because the government doesn't want people, flying Chinese drones. As I say, I mean, I definitely think that it's bad that that uh, we can't purchase products from DJI this holiday season because DJI is the most innovative uh, photographic company in the world. DJI has provided, amateur drone enthusiasts like me with cheap, affordable drones. If an American company made this drone, it would cost like $15,000. Look at Skydio prices. I mean, I would only support banning DJI if the government would subsidize drone production for people like me. I mean, if the government wants to ban DJI, they should pay me to operate a drone. I own a good. Oh no, they should pay the drone companies to supply me with the drone at a reasonable price. It's obvious that the DJI ban is going to have a negative impact on holiday sales this season. So yeah, what you get uh, Walmart seems to have a good deal on i the AirPods 4. They normally cost $130, but you could get them for $70. I think that yeah, I'm tempted to purchase them because the only pair of pods I have are the scraggly wired ones. The reason why I don't purchase AirPods is because I'd be terrified of losing them. I've had many people come up to me at work and ask me if I've seen their AirPods lying on the floor, and I wouldn't want to put myself in that position. Uh, the cost of turkey is up 20% this year. Yes, if you want to share a bird with your family, it's going to cost you 20% more than it did last year. I think that that's bad. I think that having price increases everywhere hurts Americans. I mean, I hope people can afford to have a good Thanksgiving. I mean, I do worry about all of this inflation. I think that the inflation happens because retail workers are demanding fair wages, but the problem is when you raise the minimum wage up to $20 per hour, plus add tariffs, it balloons the price of everything and causes Americans to purchase things on credit cards. Well, the politicians never consider the extent to which the high minimum wages and tariffs, hurt Americans. They just want to get elected. All right, so let's talk about sneaker tubing. I used to be a big sneaker tuber, but I quit as that industry lost volume. There are some interesting sneakers that you could purchase on Nike this holiday season. There's the Black Cat Air Jordan 4s. That's like an all black version of this. I like the red one for the holidays, more. I think this one looks more festive. But yes, you have Black Cat 4s. And as I say, I used to talk about shoes on this channel. Maybe I need to get more into it. But the Nike shoes have no resale value anymore, which is good. And all right, so the last pair of shoes I got, in fact, and reviewed were these Travis Scott. I think that was my best cop ever. I think I'll have to do another review of these shoes because they seem to be going up in value. I did not score a hit on the fragments, unfortunately. Um, and yes, I think that sneaker tubing has declined and it's shifting more toward like a mystery box event. People like Seth Fowler don't seem to generate, most of their sneaker. It seems to me like Seth Fowler is one of my YouTube idols. He made like he built a million following uh channel off of reviewing Air Jordans, essentially. I got into that game a little late. I amassed a sneaker collection of a sneaker collection of like 30 pairs of shoes, which I like. I have a lot of shoes from this pair I like a lot, the Supreme SB Dunk Highs. But sneaker tubing, ever since Kanye West blew up his Yeezy brand, sneakers have kind of gone out of style. People no longer care about how many different pairs of shoes you have, and they don't off people don't tune in to YouTube channels to see sneaker reviews the way they did back when Virgil Abloh was alive. Yes, one reason why shoe reviewing has declined in popularity on YouTube is that Virgil Abloh died. He, along with Kanye West, was one of the trailblazers of that movement who caused people to be interested in shoes. Now it's like people really aren't interested in shoes to the extent that they were in the past. They're just not that big of a deal. Nike has a habit of reproducing all of the old shoes that they could possibly, reproduce in order to, get people like me, to purchase them. But, I'm pulling back. And as I say, I believe that the big draw when it comes to, I think YouTube's next big draw for small channels like mine is going to be unboxing packs of cards, in an attempt to find grails and reselling them on Fanatics Collect. After I get them graded, I think that I've seen card pullers generate buzz on YouTube. Card pullers, seem to get like the million views per video that YouTubers need, and I think that if you want to strike it big on YouTube in 2026, I would recommend being a card puller, because I think if you pull if you could pull cards successfully, like if you could buy a mystery pack of cards and locate one that's similar to an Air Jordan from 1995 that might be graded a 10 and can receive $1,000 valuation, you'll generate a lot of buzz on YouTube. You'll definitely see your subscriber base skyrocket, and you might even get like monetization. You might even, hey, what's up, Lewis? You might get monetization if you're able to, pull expensive cards from decks and showcase your skills, showcase your luck on YouTube. You might even make a lot of money. I have some cards coming in from Topps that are of the 2025 Dodgers World Series win. Yeah, I spent $80 for 12 cards on a hunt for an autograph from Roki Saki, Yamamoto, and Otani. I mean, if I pull that card from the deck that I receive from Topps, I mean, I might be able to generate like a $600,000 sale, and I could use, that 600 grand to purchase even more cards, and maybe I'll get even more hits. But the card game is a gambling game One thing that you absolutely have to recommend about collecting cards is that, like, most of the cards you collect don't like have a lot of value. They all have to be PSA graded, and unfortunately, even nice cards like this Andy Pettit rookie refractor aren't worth that much money, unless I get them graded. All right, so here is. Let me show you another potentially good card I have. I have like a Nolan Ryan, from the '80s. This has got to get graded. Yeah, if it gets graded, a PSA 10, it might be conservatively worth like $200, but you never know. If you want to know of a place that you could go to have your cards, to ascertain the value of your cards, I would recommend sending them into PSA. And if you want to sell them, I think I haven't used them yet, but I think Fanatics Collect by Tops, offers you what might be the best place to sell your cards, or you could use eBay. Here's a full set unopened. This is my only unopened full set. My grandfather gave it to me. It's of the 2011 Mets. I mean, I wonder what it's worth. Like, it has David Wright, Angel Pagan, uh, Jose Reyes, and Carlos Beltran in it. So, like, for example, and one thing you can do to increase your odds of collecting valuable cards is by purchasing old unopened sets. I've learned that there's a huge market in cards for vintage sets that are unopened because they might have very valuable, insert cards in them. Formula One cards are becoming, very valuable. Here's an interesting card I have, a Derek Jeter 93 draft pick. This is one. This is what you're looking for when you purchase Topps cards, future stars. And if I would warn that if you're going to invest in draft pick cards, be prepared for most of the draft picks to not be that valuable. Um, I have a lot of MLB draft picks, but the only one, it seems to me, that made it very big, is Derek Jeter. So, as in terms of the NBA, it seems like Topps is really hyping up Cooper Flag of the Mavericks. Cooper Flag, is appears to be, the next LeBron James. Let me see how Cooper Flag did in his last game. All right, we're looking up Cooper Flag. All right, how did he do? Well, 15 points. So yeah, I mean, Cooper Flag scored 15 points in 102 loss to out of 102 to the Miami Heat. Miami beat Dallas 106 to 102. So yes, Cooper Flag is having a tough rookie season because he's on a horrible team. He was the number one draft pick, and it seems like it seems to me like Cooper Flag is lifting a horrible team, from being demoted to the minor leagues. He's carrying a lot of people's weight. Uh, but that's what top round draft picks are supposed to do. They're supposed to lift bad teams, out of obscurity and put them into playoff contention. It's just unfortunate to me that poor Cooper Flag has to play on such a horrible team. I would like to see how Cooper Flag would do on a team like the Knicks or the Lakers, wherein he would get more teamwork. But in terms of how this relates to cards, yes, Topps is making Cooper Flag their top spokesman. Whenever you look at a pack of NBA cards, you see Cooper Flag's face on it, despite the fact that he's like the fourth ranked rookie so far this season. Yes, and Topps is selling you the premise that if you purchase a Cooper Flag card, you might get his autograph. Now that autograph will become worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, in 20 years if he wins a few championships and becomes the next LeBron James. The problem is that if you look statistically at draft picks across all sports, most draft picks peter out. A lot of many promising rookies peter out. They dwindle in value when their cards are worthless. So I would definitely send out a warning to you that you should be careful about investing in the cards. They have like a very high probability of becoming worthless. But yes, for this Thanksgiving, it is about family. I think that I regret the fact that Thanksgiving has become hijacked so much by corporations to the point where people forget about sitting around the table and exchanging memories with their loved ones. I mean, unfortunately, yeah, I work when my relatives come up to visit me, so I'm not going to be able to see them this Thanksgiving. I did take a Christmas vacation this season, so I am not going to show up at work for Christmas the way I have done, in the past. I've got that already planned out. One thing I've learned that if you work in retail is that you absolutely have got to plan your Christmas vacations way in advance because there are lots of people at work who are trying to get off on Christmas who are having their plans denied. Is it fun? Does anybody here work retail during the holiday seasons? I find that working in retail during the holiday seasons is fun, but some employees definitely lose their temper, during the holidays. I don't want to talk about. Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't talk about some things, but yeah, I've for the holidays, it's a joyous time for a lot of people, but for others, they get extremely tense during the holiday season and start fights with other people. I think that's why if you look at the Drudge Report, if you look at past headlines from the Drudge Report on the Wayback Machine, you're going to find that men during many occasions headlines the headline was seasons beatings. Yes, people often get into fights during Black Friday lines. Do you know anybody who has a family feud? Yes, I used AI to generate this background image, and it shows a very happy family, uh, you know, chowing down on Thanksgiving on a Thanksgiving dinner. But for a lot of Americans, you can't put all of the family members at the same table because a fist fight would break out. That's oh yes, hi Tegan. Yes, I'm very excited about Thanksgiving. Also, I look forward to eggnog and Home Alone, Jingle All the Way. The Christmas. I love all the Christmas music, like Christmas wrapping. I enjoy like the Mariah Carey and NSYNC Christmas songs. The Smashing Pumpkins had a really good Christmas song called "Christmas Time." You should definitely listen to that. It was an amazing song. Um, I do love the holidays. I love Christmas and Thanksgiving, and Happy Hanukkah and Kwanzaa to people who celebrate those holidays. I wish you all very well. And I understand, like a lot of Native Americans don't like Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is kind of like a propaganda holiday that the government, invented in order to encourage America, to encourage white Americans to get along with Native Americans. And I wish Native Americans very well, but I understand that many Native Americans, I would assume probably all of them, hate Thanksgiving. But I wish you well. I wish you well. Oh, you are the first Christmas star. Thank you so much. Yeah, I want to do more like, holiday, broadcast. I like to reminisce about the holidays and, talk about what it means. I'm 40 years old and I've seen it all during the holidays. I mean, of course, I'm aware that every family has family feuds. I like to joke about them. I'm aware of the fact that all workplaces often become extremely tense places during the holiday seasons because sometimes employees will get into a fight that gets physical and somebody has to lose their job. I would say that you should be extra nice to people during the holidays because in reality, for some people the holidays are depressing, and I understand why uh, the family feuds uh, tend to get exacerbated, during the holidays. And I like to be honest on this channel. I talk about everything. Yes, I don't have like any big family feuds in my family, but I have kind of been noticing at work that the tone amongst certain employees is rather bitter, and I regret that a lot. I don't want to mention any names, however. Uh, I do look forward to seeing Home Alone again. There's one Christmas movie wherein the kid has the BB gun. I don't like that one. Yes, a Christmas Story. I think that's what it is. There's a scene where Santa kicks the kid down a slide, and I know he has a BB gun. I hate that. I don't like that Christmas movie. Macaulay Culkin did a really interesting Home Alone spoof. Uh, I would recommend checking it out. I thought it was AI, but it was him. He reprised his role, as Kevin McAllister. I would hope that you look at that, video on YouTube. Hey, what's up, TBH? How are you? I'm doing fine. Yes, we are talking about Black Friday and reminiscing about the holidays. I like to, I listen to the song Christmas rapping by the Waitresses. I don't know any of their other songs. They were a real one-hit wonder, but Christmas rapping is a clear. Oh, thank you. I appreciate the sub. Thank you so much. Yes, Christmas rapping is a classic song. It's so funny. Um, Completions and connections left for like last year. That was one of the lines from it. It's you hear Christmas rapping in the stores over the music a lot. I mean, I just hope I hear it this year while I'm working because it's very enjoyable. I often do I collect baseball cards? Yes, I do. And in fact, here's a baseball card I have. I got Jeter, Nolan Ryan. I want to try to find the one that I have that might be worth the most amount of money. Okay, yes. So do I collect baseball cards? This is the most valuable one. I might have, it might be worth like $4,000 if I could get it in a PSA 10 condition. You have to send your baseball cards to PSA in order to get them rated. If this gets rated a 10 instead of like a 9, it automatically goes up to over $4,000. But if it gets rated like a 6, because of some BS, like bad cornering, then it might be worth like $100. As with Michael Jordan cards, you know, with like a Michael Jordan rookie card, the 9 is worth like a 10,000. A PSA 9 is worth 10,000, and a PSA 10 is worth like 30,000. Now, what's the problem with this basketball card? It has like a ding on the edge, and you see that little ding is going to degrade the value of the card massively. That's something that's very unfortunate for card collectors. Many of their cards have nicks, surface damage, nicks, dings, and bad centering. That's why sending your cards to the PSA is such a nightmare. Yeah. And yes, sending a card to PSA is very expensive. It costs like $130 in order to get something like this graded. That's why this is definitely going to be the first card I send to PSA. Because no, it did not get graded. I think I'm going to send it in this week. Yes, this is going to be like the first card I ever send in to get graded, because I know it's going to be worth like over $4,000 if it gets that 10 rating. And I think it might get a 10 rating, but I'm not sure. I want to have this put in like a slab. I'm not going to sell it immediately because Barry Bonds is getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I be on the lookout for. Yes. Oh, I will post about it when I get graded. I think I'm going to use my trusty, DJI camera, in order to do a documentary about getting your cards graded, in an attempt to hopefully blow past like 10,000 subscribers. I know that there's a lot of buzz talk on YouTube in the card collecting community. I haven't gone into the card tube. I was big on Sneaker Tube at one point, but once Sneaker Tube petered out, I had to look for a genre. I do drone videos. Expect to see more drone content from me, provided that the government doesn't shut down DJI. I definitely plan on being even more of a YouTuber in 2026 than I was in 2025. Yeah, AI is giving me a whole new list of things to talk about on YouTube. 2025 was the year of AI. Elon Musk made it so that people like me can generate photorealistic images of Thanksgiving via Grok to use as background images for websites. I own the URL dronethrust.com. I also want to use like GoDaddy or Wix to further expand the Drone Thrust website or offering. I'm going to be much more of a Oh, you have to go. Oh, I understand. Yes, it's late at night. If you have to go, perhaps it's time to go to bed. It's 2:23 in the morning. I realize it's late. And another New Year's resolution I have is that I'm going to absolutely have to start doing my live streams in the afternoon as well, because I think that would definitely increase my viewership. But that being said, I get an impressive audience at 2:30. I like to be around. As a YouTuber, I realize that I have to be there for my audience and produce more content. I regret not going live every single day with like the AI background and talking about whatever topic is trending on the internet. I enjoy discussing uh, controversial subjects like Scientology and Trumpian tariffs on the internet, because it generates it makes my channel unique. But yes, 2026 is going to be a make or break year for me on YouTube, because I definitely, I hope I don't get banned. I mean, I hope that Google doesn't look at my channel and say that I'm spamming, or there's some type of, hey, thank you, I respect you too. Yes. I shouldn't get banned. There's not, well, I think that I just worry that YouTube, the way they ban small channels like me that start to get big, is that they say I'm doing deceptive practices, but you know, I don't think I'm doing that. I don't think that there's that much of a risk that I get banned, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. If you look at the Reddit about YouTube, you're going to see that like a lot of people get banned for a lot of silly reasons. I, but no, in all likelihood, I'm not going to get banned. I'm going to spend more time this year, in the amount of time I have between now and January, doing more like live stream stuff. I want to do more outside live streaming. I got to get like a selfie stick and go into New York City and do live streaming on the phone. One reason why I don't go into New York City and do live streaming on the phone is that I don't want my phone to get robbed from me. I'd love to go into New York City, but it seems to me like New York is a dangerous place. But I definitely think that New York City is a place that a YouTuber can use to generate millions and millions in watch time. There are YouTubers in New York City, as they know a trick that I don't know. What they do is that they pull this out and they get it somehow routed into their phone, and they broadcast everything that comes out of the camera onto YouTube. I'm not sure how to do that. It can be done, obviously, but I've looked up ways of broadcasting out of the Pocket 3 onto YouTube, and I just can't find out how to do it. You could generate a lot of hits on YouTube walking around New York City, and having this generate hours and hours of content for you. So what some people do is, it's like they walk and do a live stream. It's really cool, wherein they're like N- they're in New York City, and they live stream through this. I just got some silly messages. I don't know what they were. But yes, that's definitely something I would be interested in doing. But I think the best way for me to live stream, since I don't know how to live stream through a secondary camera, is to just use my cell phone and a selfie stick. I mean, that's like the type of thing that generates a lot of YouTube video views on video on you. It generates a lot of views and can cause me to get hi, hi, it's my first time here. can you introduce yourself? Hi, Sangi Tre Music Academy. I'm Drone Thrust. I operate a small YouTube channel. And yes, I'm trying to. My goal this year is to get monetization. I need like, I YouTube about lots of different things. Look at my drone videos, look at my shoe reviews. I post outrageous quotes. I critique everybody from Trump to Taylor Swift to Tom Cruise. There's nothing I won't talk about on this channel. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. If you're coming here because you want, me to talk about how there's an alien spaceship in Area 51, then understand that that's not something I do. Um, I tend to be a libertarian. I tend to criticize. I like to talk about things like the economy. Black Friday has provided me with a lot of material to talk about because I find it interesting how Americans engage in mass consumerism around the holidays. I like to talk about the deals you could get and what you should try to what you should buy, and maybe even what you should not buy. I'm not an expert on Black Friday. It does seem to me like Black Friday offers. I talk about. I've been talking about the phenomena where it seems like the companies dump products that are B grade during Black Friday at discounts, but the B grade products that you get might be just fine for you. I noticed that Apple is dropping the AirPods. No, Walmart is selling the Apple AirPods 4 for like $60 instead of 139. Yeah, I would rather personally just get like a new pair of AirPods. I don't know what version the AirPods are on, but for me, you know, I would rather spend like $300 to get the current pair of AirPods than purchase AirPods 4, which might not be as feature rich or have a good enough battery life. But that's just for me. I think if you're getting a new pair of AirPods for the first time, yeah, get them from Walmart at a discount right now. I'm also going to be looking at Cyber Monday on. Oh yeah, there's a documentary of Netflix. It has to do with buying more items that are mostly unnecessary. Yes, that's what Black Friday is. What Walmart does during what all of the corporations do during Black Friday, from Target to Costco to Macy's to Best Buy, is that yes, they sell you products that you don't necessarily. They try to cajole you into buying products that you don't need by offering B grade electronics at a steep discount. If you go into Target or Best Buy, searching for the DJI uh, camcorder, Target is hoping that you purchase, some bug spray there for the normal price in higher volumes. So that's how they make up the difference. That's definitely true. One of the people in the chat raised an excellent point. The companies, retailers make their money by cajoling you into spending money unnecessarily. I mean, I work in retail, and the customers often say, "I came in for one thing and I purchased 15 things." Yes, so you have to be careful on Black Friday that you don't bankrupt yourself with credit card debt. Purchase it, go by through going into a Target or Walmart, looking for one thing and then purchasing 15 different items that you don't need. That's what retail is. It's very tricky. The reason why retailers often change their stores around a lot is that they want you to walk all over the store to see things that you don't need and purchase them. A lot of people don't like consumerism. Um, I think criticism of consumerism is legitimate. Mass consumerism does tend to bankrupt a lot of Americans through exploiting the holidays. A lot of people don't like consumerism because it forces retail workers to work on Christmas. Um, in European countries, I think all stores are like closed on Christmas. Europe doesn't let greedy corporations, uh, exploit national holidays in order to make a lot of money. No, I guess my problem with that, my observation about that is that if we were to do that in America, it would result in lots of job losses. I need a job. I love the holidays. I don't really have that much of a problem with working on the holidays. It's not that much of an issue for me. I would rather have a job in consumerism than not have a job at all. And that's my message for the striking workers at Starbucks. Yeah, the Starbucks workers are doing their annual strike, claiming that they need not only $20 an hour, but to get paid for hours wherein nobody's there, essentially. My reaction to that is that you shouldn't work at a coffee shop if you can't work the hours. Retail has and it has many upsides and downsides. All systems are flawed. I mean, there's no perfect system with an economy. If you allow corporations to exploit the holidays too much, you're going to have mass discontent. We have a lot of social problems in America. It's obvious to me that America is a divided society, and I think that during this holiday season, you're going to see. Oh yeah, Starbucks sells ambience. Yeah, they have a nice ambience in Starbucks because they want to lull you into purchasing sugared coffee drinks that are unhealthy for you. One problem that I have with Starbucks is that the caloric intake of the products that they sell is bad for America. People shouldn't drink that much caffeine and sweets, me included. I recently got a bad report from the doctor. It's like I got to cut down on the energy drinks and the beer. So yeah, there are definitely drawbacks to capitalism that I admit. I mean, one problem with having like the Democrats want high minimum wages. One problem I have with the high minimum wages is that it encourages companies like Starbucks to increase their sales by selling junk food. And then that creates problems down the road when you have like an aging population that grew up on uh, sugared coffee drinks and now all have diabetes. So there's never a perfect system. Um, oh yes, ideas like limited items less are luring middle class people to spend recklessly. Well, that's what I talked about with the baseball cards. I mean, this is a prime example of that. This is the limited baseball card that's worth $4,000. And, these are the baseball cards that are essentially not worth $4,000. I mean, yes. So in order to get a card that's worth 4,000, one card that's worth 4,000, you have to buy a whole bunch of cards that you don't need. That's definitely, I mean, it seems like what retailers do is concoct a lottery system. Yes, wherein there's one thing on sale that you go to the store for, and then you get tricked into spending money on things that you don't need. I would definitely, the advice I would give to shoppers is do not purchase things you don't need at the grocery store. And the way that grocery stores get you to purchase things you don't need is through licensing agreements. One thing I noticed that when I go to a store is that all of the T-shirts that they sell are of old album covers. The stores tend to sell a lot of branded content of brands that you would recognize, like Batman, Pink Floyd, Dolly Parton, old country singers like Kenny Rogers. Yeah, there's obviously a lot of teams, Mets and Yankees paraphernalia. What you have to remember is that, when a company is selling like a branded content or limited edition collaboration, is that they're trying to get you to purchase something you do not need through the licensing game. I mean, I'm not calling necessarily saying that we need an extremely regulated economy. I think regulations like high minimum wages and tariffs don't really do anything at all. It's obvious that politicians want to increase their uh, control over the economy through regulations. Politicians from both political parties will try to regulate stores in order to get rid of effects that they don't want to see occur and get inflicted on their voters. But the problem with the regulations is that it often creates red tape and destroys jobs. So yes, there is never a perfect way of uh, you know regulating consumerism that benefits everybody, despite the fact that both political parties will claim that their regulations will serve as a cure-all for the people. And as I say, one issue that one issue that makes me laugh, concerning consumerism this year is how card companies like Pokemon and Topps sell you the notion that you could purchase like $1 million card if you purchase an entire deck of their cards. But it's really like a lottery, because the odds that you got no, I don't have any like fears about anything. I mean, there's nothing that I'm afraid of. I mean, I'm not afraid of me bankrupting myself trying to make $1 million on baseball cards because I don't think I'm going to do it. I like to talk about that here, to serve as a warning for you. Now it's kind of it's a little bit selfish for me to issue that warning, because I definitely plan on buying baseball cards, and a good way to deflate the value that I pay for the packs, is to tell you not to buy them. I mean, everybody has an interest in a game. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not afraid of anything. I mean, I mean, I'm not rich, but I have enough money to get by on. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff to talk about this holiday season, and I would hope that my YouTube channels, get monetized. And yeah, in 2025, it is my New Year's resolution to become the next Mr. Beast through the Drone Thrust hashtag. I'm going to build out that website this year. I didn't build it last year because there wasn't enough AI that I could use to augment it. But I definitely believe that with all of the AI that's available this year, I'm going to have an easy time building the Drone Thrust website. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to have galleries, a blog, maybe even a forum. Uh, I definitely am going to get my drone pilot's license so I could earn money selling copyrighted drone videos. Uh, I think it's important to have a New Year's resolution and stick to it. I also want to gain muscle mass this year. I'm going to want to go to the gym. I need to get in better shape. I need to lose like 50 pounds. I'm a little bit, overweight. I got to get on the treadmill more and stop the drinking. Um, yes, but 2025 was the year of AI. If you look at the finance channel, CNBC, you're going to see that all they do is every other word out of their mouth is AI. Um, some people say that AI is in a bubble. But that being said, I think the ability to use AI to generate convincing background images like this, as I did with Grok, the way I created that AI background image was that I told Grok to create an image of of a happy family having a Thanksgiving dinner. I couldn't do that 2 years ago. I think this enables me to generate a lot of content. Now, the problem is that YouTube might get angry, at that small YouTubers like me are using AI to generate images like that, because what that does is that it hurts small photographers who are selling uh, copyrighted images. Yes, they say AI is about to take so many jobs. And yes, the fact that I used that as my background instead of paying a photographer to copyright to license a copyright, that does show that AI might take a lot of jobs in the future. But if there's one thing you should understand about AI that I think is true, is that there's nothing you could do to stop it. The reason why you can't do anything to stop AI is that people like me need AI to generate content, and it's widely available. As I say, I used Grok to generate that image, and it cost me absolutely nothing. Back when I started YouTube, if I wanted to use an image like that, I would have to license it from a photographer, and that would cost like $300. What AI means is that there's just going to be more creators on YouTube and Instagram. The problem is that you're going to notice that social media becomes increasingly spammed with those types of images. We're going to notice that there are lots of startup YouTubers who do exactly what I'm doing now. I mean, the fact that my subscriber base has grown, exponentially, should make some people nervous, and I think that a lot of regulators, are going to look at people like me who use AI in order to get rich, and try to put regulations on the economy that put me, out of business. But not that I mean I don't get paid any money off of this. I mean, I would hope that my audience looks at my videos, so I get that 4,000 hours that I desperately need for monetization. Um, yeah, that's my goal. Is I want to have a monetized YouTube handle. Here's a good movie reference if you have seen the movie iRobots. Yeah, I think I saw iRobot. Is that with Will Smith? Yeah, that was a good movie. I do worry that robots are going to take away factory jobs. I definitely think they will. Oh yeah, Elysium is a good movie. Also, that's about how the rich, build their own paradise in space. I think that definitely is going to happen. I mean, I don't see why the rich people wouldn't leave planet Earth and move to another planet, given how horrible things are with Russia and China on this Earth. If there was a way to commandeer a spaceship to another Earth that's better than this, I certainly would go. I am terrified about the future of Ukraine. I mean, it seems like the whole country is going to be conquered by a plundering maniac. Yeah, this year we're going to notice that robots displace the factory worker. The CEO of Ford went to China, and his biggest observation was that he noticed that all of the factories are operated by robots in China, and they don't even keep lights on because it cost they save money having the factory a dark factory operated by robots to build cars. I do worry about the political situation in America. There is the income inequality is going to drive a politics that is driven by conspiracy theories and extreme populism. We're going to uh, your CEOs see us as normal folks. They always will. I mean, I'm sure celebrities like Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande also see us as normal folks. They just wouldn't publicly say that because they don't want to insult their fan base. I'm not really worried though about CEOs. I think that they work hard for their money, unlike professional athletes like Juan Soto and Taylor Swift. Instead of complaining about CEOs, we should complain about how Taylor Swift sold footage from her Eras Tour concerts to Disney for $100 million. Taylor Swift used to complain about equal pay for equal work. Is she going to divide the $100 million that she received from the Eras Tour to all of the small people that produced it? I hope so. I hope they get a massive tip. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to have income inequality in America. But that being said, I don't think income inequality should be a goal. You don't say that the goal of the goal in life is to achieve the impossible. The fact that Taylor Swift can sell concert footage to her friends her friends at Disney for $100 million shows that we're not going to have income inequality ever in America, and we're going to. I do worry about the politics of America because I think it's increasingly being driven by extremists. Okay, I'm running out of breath. Thank you for tuning in to this Thanksgiving broadcast. Have a wonderful day.